you're going to go too far. Who knows what happened to Philip? Who knows what he had to do in order to get to where he was at? There's a lot of things that people do that end up sitting and they can't get over it.
Let's talk. That is absolutely true. There is a lot of things that people are willing to do for money and fame.
If you have not subscribed to Alboa Cinema, this is where you will get everything. So subscribe. Niwewe naongelesha. Subscribe.
So now. Karibu to Alboa Cinema. Now, I've done videos about P. Diddy. Of course, if you've watched, you can check on my channel. There's a number of videos when all these things were coming up. Now, Terrence Howard, one of them, is actually a very talented actor, Terrence Howard. So he went on to the Valuetainment. Is it PBD podcast / Valuetainment? These guys, I think you should go subscribe to these channels. They are very entertaining. They have very good content. So they talk about generally a lot of things worldwide, but mostly since the Americans, it's mostly American. So Terrence made a claim that Diddy tried to F him. So we are going to listen as to how this came to be. Because actually, as we've talked about this before, a lot of what goes on in Hollywood and whatnot in this entertainment industry in America has been exposed to be quite degenerate. And there's a lot of corruption and you're having all these weirdos that are taking advantage of the talent or whatever the case may be, and all manner of things that we've been told about what's happening. So P. Diddy's turn right now for us to find out what he's been doing. There's been R. Kelly, there's been Jeffrey Epstein, which there are questions about that now. There's been many other people before, but okay, not really that many, but the ones that have come out. So we are going to listen into PBD podcast of Valuetainment, where Terrence Howard had this to say. Please forgive me. In these flats we live, the children out there with the single mothers making noise. Let's go.
A short life.
Why do you think that is? What the creative side is?
Well, because losing out money, you got to take drugs. You're going through so much shit to try and deal with life.
First of all, please let me just preface this by there's some things this guy has been talking about, science and gravity and whatnot. I personally think having listened to him at length talk about these ideas, I don't believe they pass the smell test. But he has this idea, I'll wait and see. Maybe he's a genius who knows things we never know. So just let him work it out. But what he has right now, it's not sufficient. I think there's a level of, he's a bit of self-absorbed. The actors artists in general do tend to have that. They have this image of themselves that they're so grandiose, that they're the smartest people. In fact, that's why you see, like in politics, they always want to tell people, hey, this is the way you should follow. It's because of the adoration people give them. They think they're more really than they are, especially in the realm of the, thinking, making up the, like being smart, really technologically astute, or economics, or health. So they think they know all these things. But I think he's suffering a bit of that. I have nothing against him as an actor, but I'm not going to pussyfoot around ideas that I think are ridiculous. So that's aside from what he's about to say.
You are literally, it's an unhealthy space. And so eventually you're going to go too far. Who knows what happened to Philip? Who knows what he had to do in order to get to where he was at? There's a lot of things that people do that end up sitting and they can't get over it.
Let's talk. That is absolutely true. There's a lot of things that people are willing to do for money and fame. In fact, right now that we have this right now we have online, like you can become famous just as a person. You know, the other day we had a tall person, the other time we have like this fat chick who's been called the prettiest, and then you just become famous. You have almost all of a sudden thousands, if not hundreds of thousands. Just wait a minute, I'll be right back. Yeah, I'm back. I had to take that call. It is what it is. Now, what was I saying? Yes, so suddenly maybe you're just a normal person, and then suddenly you have so much fame, people are giving you opportunities left, right, and center. You know, there's basically you seem to for a brief moment have the world at your feet, and then imagine now when you're in there, you've been given a test, then you're told, hey, by the way, you have to do ABCD to keep this. Because you're normally just given a test. Then after given a test, hey, they come tell you, hey, so now you need to support this, need to support that, you need to do this, this, or that. So I know that once you do some of those things, for example, if you're a straight man and you allow another man to pick a key to it, if you do that, imagine that stays in your mind, even if now you're earning more money, you've become more famous, but it's just been eating at you. So what do? As he's saying, drugs, alcoholism, then even you start doing even more insane things. That's why you're seeing the West is falling apart. Because while freedom is great, there's no absolute freedom. When you allow people to just do whatever, they will destroy your society. Let's continue with Terrence.
And they got to keep getting high, hoping to get it out of their head. You know, but when you lose your man card, that's the only thing I can think of. You lose your damn man card.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
You give up your ability, your right to being a man. A man don't take it, a man gives it.
Say it.
So when you give up that man card,
say it.
You don't get that back.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
No, I'm saying what I'm saying. You don't get that back. You come into this world as a man one time. You give up that right for anything, for fear of being hurt, fear of somebody doing something, for wanting to gain something. When you give up that man card right, you lose some spiritual energy that has always been pushing through. Like if a woman gives up her womanly right of being a mother and taking care of her family and do all those things, when you give up those things, but when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it.
Now, let me just talk about this for me, because in Hollywood, you would think everybody is sort of like a progressive, a leftist, you know, pushing all these rights of this ABCD. But there are so many people in there who are conservative in nature. They want to live with they want a wife and kids and white picket fence and all that. They're religious and whatnot. All these things. There are people in Hollywood who are like that, but the strangest thing is that if you express such sentiments, you are sidelined. Himself, he was sidelined because he wasn't playing ball as they wanted. So, you know, imagine working at a creative space where thinking is freely. Thinking freely is actually punished. You know, you lose jobs, your PR is destroyed, they start accusing you of things. Like, it's a really like a highly politicized environment where you can't really fight, you know, the ideology. Otherwise, you lose the jobs. But those who have fought that, they've lost opportunities. But thankfully, quite a number of them just rebounded, and because they are talented and honest, the market responds. You know, a good product, whether you want to call the person who did it whatever, or even if the person who actually did it is not a good person, you found that people actually do still consume their art. It is what it is. It's part of our human nature that sometimes these things we can't, like, we've had so many degenerate geniuses in history. So are we going to say maybe if we found out something important as antibiotics, that if the inventor of that was a horrible person, will we stop using it? We die because, you know, that's the argument.
That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Got punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You should have a greater desire than being a man. So I believe that's a big problem with a lot of the actors out there, because they get fluid. And next thing you know, once you go fluid, it's gone. You don't have any foundation to pull yourself back.
He really wants to say
maintain your man card, no matter what.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, you know, one of the things you're seeing, you went to a whole different place.
Sorry.
No, I get it. So you see some.
No, you just have to say the truth. You know, don't apologize for saying the truth, Terrence. It is what it is, and I think if you're honest, just say things honestly. Sometimes the things you say honestly are not true, or they drag people the wrong way. But it's always the best way. And the fact that a lot of us have actually perjured ourselves and we don't actually say the truth a lot of the times to keep deals going or whatnot, that's what is destroying society, because we can hardly do honest business because people do not want to behave and act honest.
Guys struggling with that. You see Bieber struggling with that. You see some of these guys struggling with that.
They
Yeah.
can't get it out of their head.
Yeah.
They can't get it out of their head. The things that they did, no matter how they did it, whether they were drunk or high or whatever, you gave up your man card.
Exactly.
You need therapy.
I honestly, I'm one of those people who think therapy is overrated. You know, in the West, they speak about this a lot, but also it seems it's in the West where all these degenerate ideas seem to be being nursed and, and, you know, they grow and take over society. So therapy, you know, you can say what you want. I hear a lot of people talk about these mental health issues, but a lot of these things is because a lot of people are just afraid to take responsibility for their actions. They don't want to face the world and all the problems it has. They think they'll hide behind, oh, I'm feeling sad, that, oh, I'm depressed or what, and you go to therapy to see. Still, I find it running away. I'm hoping somebody else will take care of your own bullshit. And it doesn't work. Just to speak on the therapy thing, because you see, it's not a solution in my opinion. If it was, we would see it in America, wouldn't we? No, but every time we sing is worse and worse mental illnesses and expressions of it. I mean, I'll have to do a video about that, by the way. There's a lot on TikTok that can... I'm sure you've seen it.
And that's the thing that hurts them the most. And so they end up on drugs, end up every way to try and get rid of any principles there are. And that's what the business does. And the women that trade their bodies to go and get the role, they get to the point where they have their Oscar, they have their money, but they don't have their dream. They don't have the soul that they started with. So it's like achieving don't mean anything.
Okay, I agree partly that, but also know there are people who shut themselves up totally. They feel nothing. They just enjoy the goodness all this money has begun, and they even do it more and even become perpetrators. Because they get drunk with it. It's what has given them so much power and wealth. They just carry on. Now they just become more belligerent. You know, they start doing even worse things. So yes, that because you know, sometimes you want to think people who've done us wrong really think about it and feel bad about it, but I'm guessing majority do, but I'm also guessing there's a sizable population amongst us that just don't care. Like, I think that's obvious to see, isn't it? I think at least every one of us has met someone who just like took your money, you did business or whatever it might be, and just took and just said, the hell with it, bought a car, went and got drunk, you know, whatever it is that they did, but they didn't care. They knew you were suffering, probably. They knew you probably invested all you had, and, you know, to get the deal. And this is just, you know, hypothetically. And, you know, that happens all the time, and you think, oh, they'll tell you, oh, our kids, but really they didn't care about the kids or what. They just wanted to feel good and spend the money buying nice things and good food and nice women and whatnot. We see that. So it is what it is, man. I think it's idealistic to think that everybody feels bad about the shit they do. I've personally met people who didn't give it a second thought. Whatever they've gained from it is far greater than any feelings of remorse they might have.
If I get all the Nobel Prizes from doing all of this, but in the process I have to trade out all of my integrity to do it so that they can stay in place, what benefit is that?
I think there's so many people who are very okay with trading in their, how do we say?
My integrity to do it?
Okay, I forgot the name, integrity. There are so many people who have so easily and who can so easily trade in their integrity for money and power. It's so we can see it all the time. I mean, our women are on social media every day showing people their asses. You know, it's become so normal as you think it's normal. That's not normal behavior. That's lacking integrity. That's lacking discipline. That's lacking self-respect. But we expect it and we see it so much it's desensitized us. But at the end, at the bottom of it, we know what it is. It is prostitution after all, isn't it? Ain't it?
So that they can stay in place. What benefit is that if I lose my integrity? You got to go in as a principal. And what we were brought in here as men. We produce 1,500 sperm per heartbeat for a reason, because the aggression is necessary. You don't trade that in, no matter what.
I can never, and especially that's why I'm never apologetic about so many things, especially when I see a lot of propaganda being used, especially to divert people from goals and to try to fit these weird ideologies in your head to divert you from your goals, to make you less potent, to make you more malleable and pliable and agreeable. I don't want to be agreeable most of the time, because there's a lot of bullshit. If you're agreeable, people just walk all over you. It is what it is, whether you like it or not. And you see everybody wants to have to be a nice person, nini. It's because it's good for PR. But in real life, you have to be a bit of an asshole. Quite a bit, because there are so many stupid people around, so many vindictive, vicious people around. You have to be ready. And that aggression he's talking about, that's what its work is for, to deal with such bullshit.
Hey, did you ever have the opportunity where you got invited and you said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was the
Hell
consequences
yeah.
when you said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to fuck you. That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh, okay. Now I get it. So now no more communication. Now you know to be hands-off with somebody. A number of producers come in to make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, or threaten to knock their head off for talking to you or looking at you like you're a woman.
Oh, I'm telling you, my guy. You see, the thing is, people like me, us medium ugly people, we are not in this position. But you see, like Terrence is a handsome guy. Even when he was younger, he was even more handsome, light skin. So, of course, if they are the predators that are there, kina Diddy are looking at, hey, kitu unaweza. But personally, you will be injured quite severely. Yes, that is not something I can stand. In fact, I know that a lot of people would find that, oh, he's homophobic. Try that shit. Try it. Because I think sometimes we are being accepting of too much bullshit. And this is how it goes. They just start to infringe, just a bit and a bit. All of a sudden, you'll be told, because they're saying that right now in America, that if a man who's pretending to be a woman, these transgenders, if she is identifying as a woman and you don't date or treat them as an actual woman, vagina, boobs, and fallopian tubes, if you don't treat that man who still has his dick and balls, even if they don't, they've cut it off. If you don't treat them like a woman, you're transphobic. How is that not trying to force you as a straight man to fuck a man? How is that? How is that not the fact? That's the case, and they are trying to push it. A nigga would. I wish you would. They'll write laws about it, I'm telling you the truth. We have to cut the bullshit. That's what I'm saying.
Now, when you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're going to get a real reaction back.
Exactly.
It's a difference when a guy walks in a room and when a man walks into a room. And a man don't take the same things that a guy will accept. So always be the man.
I would not accept it.
And that's always been my whole thing. And have lost businesses because I don't bend over in that way. I don't compromise. I don't play gay roles. I don't kiss a man. I don't do that shit.
People always talk about like it's just acting, but it's really not, because you've seen like a number of like actors and actresses actually start really relationships from their on-screen relationships, because a kiss is still a kiss, especially if you're doing it properly. There's still that emotion, and they will still be that afterwards. I mean, what are we pretending here? I actually hate it because people like to draw, paint a lot of grays around a straightforward issue that we know is a fact. So if you're going to be an actor who's being told to act a gay role and you're not gay, it's going to affect you. That's whether you like it or not, you're going to be disgusted with yourself 100%. There was that actor who did Brokeback Mountain, the one who committed suicide. People don't want to talk about it, but I know personally, I'm going to say that's the primary reason he did it, because that was the end of his career. He was this handsome guy. He was called Keith. What was his name? I have to find out. Let me just find out. These things we have to do. Brokeback Mountain 2015 cast. So this guy, Heath Ledger, yes, this guy. This is like pretty boy number one everywhere. This was the guy. This guy. He's the one who was major in that movie, and there was a very over the top gay scenes, and I personally know 100% is part of the reason he took himself out. I'm just saying, I don't care. That's what I think. Personally, as a man, if I ever do that, I will never live with myself. 100%.
Because
I'm a straight man, that is.
card means everything.
I had no idea we're going to go this direction with the podcast. This is absolute. But listen, we've talked about it. We've had a lot of the guys on to talk about this stuff. Are you done with Hollywood because of this specific reason?
I'm still working. I still, I haven't made the money necessary to do all of the other stuff. So I still have to go and do the chitlin circuit. I still have to do the job that I need to. But eventually, I've done what I set out to do, which was to redefine the universe. I've proven what I've set out to do.
This is where it goes into Kukula, and it is redefine the universe. Terrence, pipe it way down. Humility here. I've listened to your arguments about your shapes and whatnot. It's crap. It's a bad idea. It's not even well thought through. It's just being backed up by his arrogance.
And that's why I have all the patents. Whether they evaluate it or not, that's up to them. But I've done the work, and
just by there, you can patent anything, even useless things. So just because he says he has patents, I mean, he's redefined the laws of the universe. You really have, when you make such an extraordinary claim, you have to have extraordinary evidence, and all he has is his mouth. And he had some shapes. There's another podcast, I don't know if it's Joe Rogan, he came on and showed people shapes. They actually had a scientist there who was questioning how he thinks, and it was very quickly you could tell that he couldn't really back up his ideas, so he went on to attack the scientists. So it is what it is. Not saying scientists are always right, but somebody who's, especially in this realm of technology, you can't afford to have people with cookie ideas. Your technology won't work. He needs to show us that whatever redefinition of the laws of the universe that is done is actually applicable. Where does it apply? That's the crux of it. You can't just tell me, you redefined it. Come on, Terrence.
Finished it. Now I can go on and do whatever else we do.
The only thing you can do, Terrence, is do more movies, create more, maybe start your own production house and produce your own stuff. And make money and get more people in it, spread some culture, whatever you need to do. You're not going to make any dent in science. I'm telling you now. I know some of you like him and maybe some of you believe of what he's saying, but he's not going to make a dent. I'll wait. If he does, I will come and say, I was wrong. He knew what he was talking about. But on assessment of what he's selling right now, it's bullcrap.
Need to do. Hi, everyone. My name is Terrence Howard.
All right. Now they're selling the thing they have called me necked. They sold in America. So, anyway, I don't know what you thought about that. Do you believe Terrence? Terrence, there are just too many people saying this. And it's obvious so many people took the deal. I think those are the people who are like, hey, man. Oh, anyway, I don't know what you think about that video. As usual, go check. We have a till number down there and PayPal. We are doing crowdfunding for our Book of Ka feature film. That's in the Book of Ka universe, Kenyan sci-fi. So go there. Also go to my X, Alboa Cinema, the pinned comment right there to give you all the details. I'll also put the details on this video in the description section to be able to tell you what exactly is going on. You can go watch our OT Unleashed proof of concept. This is just a 8-minute, small, like something, like a taste of what is coming in the Book of Ka universe. So this is going to be something interesting. African mythology and sci-fi, my friends. Hiya. Subscribe, like, share. You know what I'm saying?